Greetings, Bible Thumpers. I have a new episode of the Old 52 where we talk about number ones of old defunct series. And submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society, I call this story Preacher Number 1 by Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon. Of course, also known for their work on the Marvel Max Punisher series. And this is where they really kind of got going, and as far as I'm concerned, as much as I enjoy Garth Ennis, this is his magnum opus. This is his Citizen Kane. This is his Pulp Fiction. This is Preacher. And he had another book that came out about around this time, Hitman, which took place in the regular DC universe. This is DC Vertigo, back when you could call DC Vertigo. And this was kind of around that same time when they were doing one of their relaunches after Zero Hour. Matter of fact, in the Zero Hour pamphlet, they had a chapter about their Vertigo books, and this was one of them. I still think this is quite amazing. Let me just get a little bit into this here. We open in kind of roadside diner somewhere, and we have our main characters, Jesse Custer, Cassidy, and Tulip, and we're going to be spending the entire series with these three. Cassidy and, Jesse Custer and Tulip, we very much get, very early on, were lovers, and he had jilted her and disappeared, and she had spent some time trying to find him. Along the way, she runs into Cassidy, who is a little bit of a mysterious fellow in this issue. She was really surprised when she eventually found him. He turned out to be a preacher in this small town of Anvil. And it was kind of the last thing she expected, frankly. Well, he gets into the story of what the hell happened. Now, he doesn't really get into it. This will happen like in, I think, the next story arc of why he became a preacher. But he kind of just hints the fact that it wasn't his choice. And that is an understatement, let me just tell you. But after a while, he got really tired of being the preacher of this small town and listening to everybody's, confessions and sins and all sorts of shit that he sees every day. That, he sees the same people come into to his church and act all godly, and then they go out and be, fucking assholes all the time. So he gets drunk and kind of brings this up and at a local bar, and of course they react like Texans. They beat the crap out of him, and so he, the bar owner tells them to get off him, and he has a sermon that he's going to tell the next day. Oh, meanwhile in heaven, in space heaven, where they have like George Lucas type buildings or something like that. It's Cloud City. I don't know if you knew this, but Lando Calrissian is God, so that makes a lot of sense. Anyway, the angels and they're kind of minions in heaven. How do you like to be a servant in heaven? But they realize that this entity escaped, and there's a lot of mystery as to what it looks like, and it's powerful enough to take off the head of an angel. Anyway, one of the angels, rightly so angry, tells these guys to go capture it as best as they can. And what they have to do is they realize it's gone to Earth, so they decide to wake up the Saint of Killers, and we'll get to him in just a minute. Meanwhile, Tulip is explaining what she was doing before she ran into Jesse, and she started work as an assassin, which, I don't know, doesn't really go too well here. And that's where she ran into Cassidy, actually. Meanwhile, the minion here guy, he wakes up the Saint of Killers in this little cavern cave under the cemetery in the west, and it's this badass Clint Eastwood hybrid guy who, first thing he does is just shoot him in the face. Then he's told to bring back this entity at all costs. Don't let anybody stand in your way. And this guy he's equipped with the powers of heaven, so his guns kill anything. He can't be destroyed himself. He's basically unstoppable. And I mean, he's kind of like the Spectre, but as a cowboy. And more appealing. But we get into the story of what the hell happened, and that entity, let's see, I believe it's called Genesis, if I can't remember right, strikes Jesse and merges with him. And that ensuing merger fries everybody in town, because everybody in town heard about what was going on and showed up at church, filling the church for the first time, and the entire town is incinerated over this. This is sort of kind of what the creature looks like. You get to see it partly because why it looks like that is because it is an unholy merger of an angel and a demon. You even get to see that scene in here of an angel and a demon like hitting it off there. Vertigo. This is the old days of Vertigo. Okay, well, Jesse is rescued by Tulip, who finds him, and he realizes he suddenly has a superpower. Whatever he tells people, they do. Doesn't matter what he tells them, they do it. Even in a future issue, he tells someone to die in a fight, and they drop dead. He tells one guy that he needs him to, like, he has to distract him, so he tells him to count every pebble on a beach, and he does it. And he doesn't come back for like months. And it's a scary power when you think about it. And they pick him up. He's being pursued by this Sheriff Root, who is trying to take out anybody who he feels like had something to do with this, and it's a fairly unpleasant fellow. And then, of course, at the end, we run into the Saint of Killers himself, who is looking for that entity, and it's merged with Jesse, so he's out to kill him. Now, where is God? We find out later in this, and what happens in this story arc in the next few issues is Jesse kind of finds his mission and what he wants to do, and that mission is to kill God for everything he's done to him. It's kind of a revenge story against God. The art is crisp and clean and beautiful, and it's kind of almost standard comic book art, which kind of does, relieve the tension of all the shocking material you will see. It's almost like kind of, South Park material, but done straight, as kind of a horror fantasy Western hybrid. There's just so much in this book. It's an amazing series. It did kind of drip before the big climax, but that's what happens sometimes when a series goes for 70-some issues and stuff like that. There can be a little wandering. But other than that, this was a great book. He's done some wonderful work from time to time, but as far as I'm concerned, this is his best series. And to this day, I'm shocked that DC did a book like this. There's so much potentially offensive stuff in this series. I mean, I think it's hilarious, but wow, I can't believe a major publisher did this book. And they're still proud of it. They still reprint the thing. It's like, damn. Kevin Smith got in trouble for his Dogma movie, which was called anti-Catholic, and it's anything but anti-Catholic. It's just his views and his love of Catholicism, what he feels is right about it, and what he's honest about what's wrong with it. This ain't loving tribute. So I'm still amazed that DC hasn't tried to hide this and burn all the copies. I really dig it. If you dig this kind of stuff, I highly recommend this. If you've heard about it, please go check it out. The individual issues can be a little pricier than some of the books I've showcased here. You may want to probably pick up the trades, actually. That might be maybe a better route. But I think that's it. So until next time, push the button, Lindsay.